Hare Krishna. Welcome to Viplavah 2025. Every year, ISKCON Ministry of Education embarks upon an annual symposium called Viplavah. And this year, the theme of Viplavah 2025 is Contribution to Sastric Education by Vaisnavis. This is to provide all ISKCON educators from around the world to come and provide their valuable insights that they have acquired through their practice, many years of practice. This year, we have a beautiful and an amazing, accomplished Vaishnavi with us, Ananda Vrndavan Devi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Ananga Sundari.
Nice to meet you.
Same
so happy
here.
to have you here.
Thank you.
So, could you please share a little bit about yourself, both as in your journey as a seeker, as a practitioner, and how it inspired you to become a teacher in ISKCON?
Hare Krishna. Yeah, my name is Ananda Vrndavan Devi Dasi, and I am in ISKCON from last almost 25 years. And I came to Krishna Consciousness through my husband, HG Balimardan Das, who is a part of ISKCON Ministry of Education as well. And I got to know about Krishna Consciousness through him after my marriage. And I was really seeking for understanding who God is, because I have seen it from my childhood in the temple room, every God is worshipped. And I was always confused why there are so many gods, not one God. But, fortunately, after my marriage, I got this Bhagavad Gita as it is from Srila Prabhupada. And that really cleared all my doubts about how, who really God is. Krishna is the only God, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and everybody else is demigod or under him. So that really fascinated me to start to learn more and more. And the second book I read after the Bhagavad Gita was Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita, because how amazingly he has worked all over the world. He has preached about Krishna, and I wanted to know about his life. So that's the second book I read, and that really made me understand like how much struggle he took to give this Krishna consciousness to the world by the order of his spiritual master. And that was his aim or the goal for his whole life. And that's why I started then studying Srimad Bhagavatam and all the small books of Srila Prabhupada, starting from Nectar of Instruction. And it really helped me, every day it helps me more and more, this purports of Srila Prabhupada in both material and spiritual journey, in family life, in Grihastha life, as well as, giving this knowledge to others, and especially women. I normally preach to women more, studying each and every book with them, with multiple groups. I've been studying from, again, last 23, 24 years with the groups of women. And how I got from my mentors, I am continuing that, studying each and every book regularly, one after another, repeatedly. It's non-stop going on.
That's beautiful. Thank you. I especially like how you started with Bhagavad Gita as it is, and you fell in love with the author, Srila Prabhupada, this divine day Srila Prabhupada, and then you wanted to know more about him, and then that's how you started reading about Leela Amrita. So your journey from a dedicated student, and now you're also a very compassionate teacher. So can you also tell how deeply you would study and reflect? Because to teach, before you become a teacher, you need to reflect, you need to be able to apply. And like you were saying, you apply it in your daily life, in your family life, outside life, how you are as a person. How has that shaped you, the way you now connect with other females or other Vaishnavis or other devotees as well, or even your family members?
Yes, because especially Srimad Bhagavatam, it talks with so many examples, and you can, whichever situation you are in, you can pick one of those stories and try to implement in your life, and that helps. And on top of that, I homeschool my children through the Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's how I became a teacher for children as well, not just for
Beautiful.
adults. Yeah, and that's how I started. And I didn't keep it only to my children, but I created an outreach program called Lil Krishna Kidz, like around 15 years back. And it has been continuing, giving this knowledge to the children which are not devotees. They don't come to temple. We just go as an outreach program and teach others. And those who are pious religious families, they are looking for such kind of programs, and they are not associated with ISKCON, but they're looking for. So whoever comes to temple, they go for Sunday school, and which is there. So this was an outreach for children, and it helped a lot. Like hundreds of children have graduated over these years, and they're in college, and they are really making this helpful. So it's not just for adults or myself, but for also the children, it helps so much. And through children, we learn a lot. I learned, as you were saying, how you reflected. I reflected more from the questions by the children. Then, I will look for the answer, in their level and go for it, as it is. Everything is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. So anything you want to know, it will come from there. So that's how it helps, because their questions are out of the box question. So, and they have not.
They go to the fundamental, to the core.
Yes.
Like, why this? Why Krishna is blue? So you have to think about those kind of questions.
Exactly. Yes. And also they are like, they have not yet lived the life, but they are just asking out of curiosity by just listening to a story. And those questions are much, deeper and better to understand and reflect upon ourselves than the adults who has already lived the life, who have gone to the situation, right? Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, as we know, Vaishnavis or women are very integral part of any society or any community. And Vaishnavis and ISKCON are also, they enrich and uplift everyone. So from your experience, how does the study of Shastras shape a Vaishnavi's life? You said that you also study in circles, and especially women Vaishnavis. How have Srila Prabhupada's books and purports touched Vaishnavis' hearts that you've seen, like an example, and also how it's making that ripple effect and touching this wider community as well?
Yes, that's a very good question. And, it first of all changed my life, like I was like very arrogant, and like proud of my career or my studies, academic qualification. So that really, when I started studying Nectar of Instruction, for example, which is the basic book, like ABCD of Krishna Consciousness is given, and where it hits from the beginning, right? The control of the mind, control of the tongue, control of the speech. So that really helps. And it doesn't help one time when you read it, again and again. And then and also not also studying, but also chanting. Hearing and chanting both are required to purify ourselves. So it helped definitely a lot in my family life, in my nature. It's still a lot of room for improvement, but it is happening. I can see that. But others' lives I have seen changed a lot, like multiple families where the ladies were struggling, they are Krishna conscious, the husband is not, and how to deal with them. And suppose how the teenager kids, how to deal with them, where because the father is not Krishna conscious, the kids are confused what to do, right? Which path to follow. So those things helped for those families a lot. When the lady started studying and grasping and understanding what I should do, how should I handle this kind of situation, even living with the husband nicely and continuously practicing Krishna consciousness. So that has changed many lives actually. And, many people not knowing. And the other way also has happened. When the husband is Krishna conscious and the new married wife, she is not, then they have become Krishna conscious in these circles of our study groups, that, by studying these books, understanding, leaving, non-veg and all, coming back to prasadam, offering everything, becoming Krishna conscious with the husband. So it has happened both the way. And really, they are grateful. And from last at least 15 years, they have been reading with me every day, So at
15
least,
years is a long time. Yeah.
yeah, and we're reading books again and again to go more and more deeper.
Like
Yes.
you said, like one time, it doesn't hit us on one time. We have to keep reading the
Yes.
same books again and again to
Yes.
discover new meanings.
Yeah.
And also, I think I'm very inspired. Like you said, you started the school, Little Krishna Kids, and then now kids are growing up as devotees. So even if one of the parent or both the parents are not devotees, then the kids, they infiltrate the family and they make the parents devotees. So that's how it's impacting the wider community as well. So you start with kids who are very important, who are an integral part as well of our community.
Yes, exactly. So, like, I can give an example of one family where the parents were pious, but, they sent the kids just to learn the Vedic culture. And the kids picked up so much. They started chanting, they started doing. Now they are in, one of the families in high school. The kids are in high school, and one of the family, they're in college. And those high school and college girls and boys, they started preaching to their friends. They have graduated from long time back from Lil Krishna Kidz, right? But they really know the value of it, and they are presenting, and they are saying it's just what we learned in our childhood in Lil Krishna Kidz. We are just doing that, and that making the family proud, and the family are eventually coming to Krishna consciousness. The parents are serving now, as the community member, as the congregation member, and chanting and reading also. So it happened from kids to the parents, the reading path.
Especially when kids do it, then adults feel like, wow, if they can do it, then why can't we? So they model their behavior as kids.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. So with that, I'm also thinking that could you share some of the educational programs that Vaishnavis, young Vaishnavis, or even Vaishnavis who are in family life, who want to commit themselves to reading Srila Prabhupada's books, what kind of educational programs does ISKCON have that Vaishnavis can take or benefit from, especially with, rooted in Srila Prabhupada's purports and books and translations?
Yes. So ISKCON has the Sastric education, right? Bhakti Sastri, Bhakti Vaibhava, Bhakti Vedanta, and all that, where Vaishnavis also take part in those studies. And like we all have done that, Bhakti Sastri, Bhakti Vaibhava. So it is there. They should take advantage of it. Also, I was thinking that there are also the smaller courses what different congregations give, even BIHE or MIHE, they also give, and also other temples, they give small courses, or just, kind of a circle they do. Like in our temple, we have Bhakti community where we go, only women's circle we have also in the Bhakti community. Every Sunday we just read Bhagavad Gita, and this is the third or fourth time we're reading Bhagavad Gita. All the same members from last 4 or 5 years, like non-stop, steadily they are reading again and again. They want to go. So this is the third time we're going reading the Bhagavad Gita.
That's amazing.
Yeah, those same ladies, they have never stopped. They have never stopped in 5
So
years.
they're repeating and learning and reading again.
Yeah, even though it's the same book, can
Yeah,
imagine.
Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, Bhagavad Gita. Also another group, Bhagavatam, we have multiple times happening. So yeah, that kind of groups are there as well. But in terms of Shastric education, definitely ISKCON has so much of facilities, not just for Vaishnavas, but also for Vaishnavis. But people don't know normally. So we should educate and make them aware that, you can do this. And also I was thinking that if it is possible, suppose the Bhakti Shastri only for women, then some women are, really shy to go with men, especially devotees. They become more humble, more shy, and all that happens. So they can maybe do it better. They can do better when they just as a women Bhakti Shastri or women Bhakti.
That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah. Then I think they will be more open up, because with men, maybe they might not be asking questions. That's what we have. That's why we have the separate women's circle, that it is just private. Anybody can ask anything.
And sometimes the challenges are also different, like they're raising kids or they're working or,
Exactly.
their challenges are also different. So you're
Yes.
right. That's a very good point.
Yeah. And the same timing doesn't fit for them. Suppose the father is taking the course, mother cannot take it at the same time because kids are at home, right?
Yes.
So that's why the timing is also has to be different. So it would really help, I think. Yeah.
That's a very good idea. Yeah. like you also mentioned, you've been teaching these courses, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, parallelly from last 15, 20 years. How, you've reflected, you've studied these through your kids asking you questions, through your students asking you questions. How has it impacted your teaching style? What teaching style or methods have you found that works best for helping devotees, especially Vaishnavis, grasp deeper philosophical aspects from Srila Prabhupada's purports?
Yeah, very nice question, actually. So, teaching style always evolves as you grow or as you pass with the time, right? So what I have seen the best it works right now, I have changed my our Bhagavatam study circle. We are starting afresh new from this Kartik again, like maybe third time, I guess. And there I started as is more interactive, like we study the verses, translation, sloka translation, purport, but I have made a deck that I just put the overview of the chapter, and then I let them put their definitely we discuss every day, but at the same time I have given them the sections of discovery, understanding, and application. So they put it whatever they have discovered in that chapter, and then whatever they understood, and the applications what they are taking away from each chapter. So that is really helping, not just I'm giving the notes to them,
Yeah.
right, but it's everybody's 20 people coming together putting their things, so how much to learn.
So they're
So
not just coming and listening to you, which is also a
yes,
part, but they're also listening to each other and also reflecting.
yes,
That's
and
amazing.
that is really helping. So that's the latest. Earlier we used to just discuss, there was nothing in the presentation mode or anything, we used to just discuss and taking notes. But I thought when we keep that document, then it would be forever. Whatever you are learning from proper important things, you are putting in that one.
This
Yes,
could be really helpful for other teachers as well. So they
yes.
read, you give them no, you give them notes offline, so they read and come to the session. How does it
No,
happen?
we read together every
Okay.
day, and I just put the overview of the chapter, like suppose from first sloka to fifth sloka, this is the scenario, or this is what
Yeah.
it is written, and then 7 to 8, this is the topic, then 10 to 15, this is the topic, like that. I just give them an overview, but whatever we are discussing in the class and during the study, then they put it in the discovery, and whatever they have remembered from the purports, right, in discovery, and then what they understood from that. Understanding part is like what I understood, not that what I read, right? Discovery is what you read. Then they put on their own words what they have understood, and the application is what are the takeaways, because unless we do this, we just go on reading and reading, we don't know where we are applying it.
True.
So when we do systematically, when we learn like this, then it helps a lot. So that's why I did that.
This is amazing. I remember, our acharyas say that if we read even one thing from the scripture, one sentence, one verse, one line from the scripture, every time it brings new, fresh meaning. And now there are 20 or 30 people in your circle who are bringing their own understanding as well at the same time. So it must be very
Yes.
enriching.
Yes, and somebody misses some points, the other person writes, so everything gets
Yes,
covered. So
yes,
that's another
yes.
thing. Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Your experience with women has been so long and so enriching. You've been teaching them, you've been studying, you've been an avid student also. And knowing, like, from some background, women, like you also mentioned, they're not always encouraged to take deep Shastric study. Sometimes it says that, sometimes Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya Mama Abhijanati, that anyone can understand Krishna through devotion. But sometimes in some communities, it might be internal, it might be more structural. Um, they always say women should be in the background or Shastra is too heavy for them. But you are such a stalwart example of reading the Shastras, even though being introduced after your marriage and reading the Shastras, and also now teaching the Shastras. So, what are these challenges that ISKCON is facing, especially for women, and how can we, really resolve them so that we can all march forward? What efforts can we take as Vaishnavis or even as ISKCON community as a whole?
Yeah, I think It should come from the management of each temple or each congregation, I think. Like here we are at ISKCON of Silicon Valley. His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu is very much into Sastric education, like learning Sastra, understanding Sastra. So that's how we have picked up so much from the beginning. But I think everywhere it should be like that everybody should be involved in the Shastra, not just, male prabhus or male devotees. Because normally what happens in temples or congregation, women are given more charge of the services, like in the background, like cooking, dressing, or jewelry making, or those kind of things, taking care of Sunday school. Those have been taken care by women.
Women,
Yeah, and they are not being given the opportunity to become the preacher. When you are given the opportunity to become a preacher, then only you tend to study, right? Yeah, you have to teach, you have to study, you have to distribute books, you have to study the books before you distribute, right? So even for book distribution, it is quite less in other congregation for women. Normally male devotees go. So I think it should come as a whole in ISKCON, from the board and from the management, from the GVC of that particular congregation, that yes, this has to be also done. If we keep a goal like, okay, these many scriptures are to be studied by this many years, right? Or one after another, the sequence. So then it helps a lot. I have somebody, a couple of girls, they had studied like 15 years back, I guess, with me, or more earlier than that. It was just the basic books, Nectar of Instruction, Ishopanishad, Nectar of Devotion, Bhagavad Gita. After that, they never came back. When I told them I started Bhagavatam, that time they were busy with the family life or small kids, whatever. Now they are back. Can you imagine? After these many years, a long gap, they want to study Srimad Bhagavatam. So that really helps when you are steady, in continuously teaching or continuously studying, not just teaching. I study with them. So then that makes a difference, that, oh, this person is not just teaching, but also studying. So what is there?
That leaves a deeper impact on them.
Yes. We have to be them, not that, we have to be separate. So we have to encourage the women in that way. Yes, it is possible for you. If one person can do it, all the women can do it.
That's true.
That encouragement to the women should be there, to the Matajis in the congregation should be there. Everybody can read it, even though you have kids, you have family, you have job, right? So a certain time, like earlier, I remember when I started studying with my mentor, we both were working and we were studying in the lunch hour. So that I followed with the others. When I started studying with the others whom I wanted to teach, that I used to spend my lunch hour in the conference room, booking 1 hour studying.
That's amazing. 12 to 1, just reading Shastras.
Exactly. But when I started homeschooling and stopped working, so that time, because whole day I was busy with my kids, but I was studying with them anyway. But I kept still this time with the Matajis or with the women group in the evenings. So I switched that to evenings. So that's how it has been continuing now, evenings. Yeah. So.
And I agree with you. Like, before we preach, before we go and do outreach, we should be very strong in our own reading of the scriptures. And Srila Prabhupada would say that, before anybody goes out to preach, they should know the conclusions of the Shastras. Only then they can explain the Shastras to everyone. And even while doing the outreach, I really like your example, how you would do the study together. It's not like an instructor and a student setup. It's like we're doing it together. So that encourages everyone who's participating as well. And you as a teacher also, you're learning from them, from their viewpoints, from their questions, like how you would learn from your kids.
Exactly. Yeah. Learning happens more when you study together. But alone, I can never study, because I got that habit of studying together from the beginning. So I never got that I can do alone, so because learning everybody's reflections, questions, that really help.
That
and
amplifies.
Also, go ahead.
I was just saying that amplifies your own learning.
Yes, it amplifies for sure. As also they have so much of personal questions, other than, so if you help them in that also, giving them the example from the Shastra, not that, okay, somebody comes to a problem, my family problem, this. And then if you just say, oh, try this, try. But if you give a Sastric evidence, like, like how Kunti suffered so much, or Mother Sita tolerated so much. So if you give those Sastric evidence, that really touches their heart, and they try implementing. Otherwise, it's, it just doesn't work.
That's true. That's just general counseling, but you're right, deeply rooted in Shastras that hits you that, oh, such and such devotee also suffered. So I'm in the same boat. What can I do? Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for bringing out these jewels while you're teaching. And anyways, I was also thinking that it's an evolving culture. What we were 50 years, 60 years back, we're not right. It's not the same right now. But women definitely need a safe space. They need to be nurtured, and everyone needs to be nurtured, but everyone needs to be heard, and they need their own small circles where they can talk as well. So thank you so much for providing that safe space for the last 15-20 years to so many women. Well, I mean, with that, I also wanted to ask you that, is there anything in Srila Prabhupada's purport that has struck you, has been with you, you've kept it in your, under your belt, that you always try to apply in your life? Anything practical that motivates you, helps you motivate other women also who are reading with you and learning from you?
Yes. The first thing Srila Prabhupada mentions he mentions in many of the purports in Bhagavatam, like, if you take the name of Kunti's prayers, during Kunti's prayers, or during Draupadi taking the decision about Aswathama's punishment, how he gives the example that how such an elevated lady see age, and also Devahuti story, or any Rukmini story, Rukmini's prayers to Krishna, and all that. So, but first thing he gives is in the Bhagavad Gita, in 9th chapter, where it says that, Striya Vaishya Tatha Sudra Tepi Anti Param Gatim. So I have got that questions every time I start a new circle, new batch of women. At least one person would ask that question, why he's mentioning here Striya Vaishya Tatha Sudra, and women are less intelligent, similar to Vaishyas and Sudras, right? So it's like
I'm
many
curious, what would you say?
Yeah, so there Prabhupada is clearly mentioning that, the intelligence is different of women than men, right? Men can do certain thing what women cannot do. Women can do certain thing that men cannot do, right? Yeah. Especially in multitasking, women are much better than men. That's right? You can handle family, you can handle kids, you can handle in-laws, own parents, own friends, own kids, own spouse, and again your job, and also devotees, everything. But men are like single focused. Women are. So definitely the intelligence is different. It's not that somebody is higher intelligent, somebody is less intelligent. And then he says, whoever takes into Krishna consciousness, whether man or woman, it doesn't matter, they'll get the perfection, right? They'll get the path of perfection, or the achievement of connection with the Supreme Lord, or going back to Godhead, or the ultimate bhakti. So it is not that only men can get it and not women. So he really encouraged women. Actually, in the Vaishnava history, in any of the sampradayas you see, Srila Prabhupada is the first one who encouraged women in each and every service as men. Nowhere you will see, in none of the temples you will see women worshipping the deity at the altar, other than ISKCON. In none of the temples you will see women giving class, other than ISKCON. So everywhere women are there. Nowhere you will see women are preaching or going out for book distribution. Prabhupada encouraged in each and every field to be equal a part as the men for the women. And because he says clearly, and we know that, right, that everybody is a spirit soul. The body is just a body, right? So it is like, it is said the women are of less intelligence or part of a different body, that they cannot do certain things. Because in earlier ages, somebody was asking me last week, actually we had a seminar, and there she was asking me, I was wondering, the princess or the boys, Brahmin boys, they used to go to Gurukul and learn, but women, the princesses never went, right? The queens never went to study. How were they learning? How did they get the education? And Prabhupada writes that in one of the purports, actually, that they got the education from their mothers at home, and like how to make a nice household, how to make a nice family, because eventually they'll go to another family and build a new family, right? So that's what the mothers were teaching, and they were learning in music, dance, all those artistic things where the teachers used to come and teach at home, right?
Brilliant.
And we have the example of that in Mahabharata, where Arjun went to teach Uttara, right? He was hired as the dance teacher, dance and music. So that is how it was there earlier. But now in the modern society, women are doing everything. Earlier, women were staying home, taking care of the family. But now in the modern society, women are also forefront in everything, in every field of activity or career. So that's how they have to be well equipped with the Sastric knowledge, not to just to get their spiritual upliftment, but also how to handle outside world. In the outside world, you go as a manager, you go as as a leader in the workplace also, then you can really integrate your Sastric education to your field of activity. In that way, you are staying Krishna conscious all the time. So that's why Prabhupada encouraged so much, and we should take advantage of that. Women should study as much as possible, because Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam especially, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. We were reading yesterday Chaitanya Charitamrita, and in that, the story of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Amogha offending Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his own son-in-law. And there, when he offended Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's wife, she is saying that he did such a great offense on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he should be died. Let my daughter be a widow. That's what she's saying.
Because
Like,
of the offense.
imagine her devotion and love for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that if her own son-in-law offended, and she's saying, let my daughter be a widow, but I don't want to this kind of offender here. So how much deep that thought is, and that is possible. And she's a Vaishnavi, of course, right? And because she was so much of in her heart, that love and devotion was there, it was so deep rooted that she doesn't think about the material relationship. She only thinks about Krishna, right? Pleasing Krishna and not offending. So like that, many examples there in Chaitanya Charitamrita as well. Chaitanya Charitamrita is the best actually for us, as for the modern as, right? There's recent examples and what we can imply more in our lives. And that's how Prabhupada has encouraged us so much. So we should continue that. And I really like Prabhupada's purpose on women when he puts it, because people normally take it in a different way. But we have to understand what really Prabhupada wanted to establish.
Thank you. Thank you. I think the best part I like is you share that how women go out in the life right now, professionally, materially, even family life, and how the study of Shastras and scriptures is so important, that what they read in the scriptures can permeate in their outside life as well, as leaders, as workers, even as mothers, and even as family members. So how all the teachings from our Shastras, they're not old and outdated, but they still help us in our present lives as well, as professional people and as a person we are. So thank you so much for bringing out that. I think last closing thoughts, how would you suggest or advise ISKCON and other Vaishnavis to raise and also encourage young Vaishnavis? There we see new people joining in from college, from universities. Even I joined out of the university, and then just getting their jobs at that time when they're so busy making their lives. How would you encourage, or how would the teachers, Vaishnavi teachers, encourage these women who are just starting their lives per se? How can ISKCON help them?
Yes, I think we should help them, especially I wished always when I came to this knowledge after my marriage, which was like after my studies, after my job, everything. So I had gone through so much. I wish I knew this earlier, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we should tell the students how this is what the instruction manual of our life, and when you learn this, it is your life would be much better than what you are thinking of or what you are dealing with. Because when you implement the instructions in the shastras as it is from Prabhupada's purports, it helps so much. It helps so much to reflect upon ourselves, think about ourselves, like what I'm doing, and what I should do. We get a right direction, right? So when we don't have a direction, proper direction, and we just try to go with the flow of the society as a student, or starting to work, or starting to newly married, so we just whatever we have learned from the childhood, and we just do it, right? That's what we have seen in ourselves as well as other girls, because there is no proper organized education for us to lead our life. We have got all the other education, but not this.
That's true.
And this education, yes, there are a lot of other education in the modern world about these topics as well, but they are not with Sastric evidence. They just do whimsically out of their own experience. Like a lot of counselors are there out in the world, a lot of coaches are there, but they are getting it from their own experience or learning some mundane books, right, on those topics and getting it. Then that doesn't give the perfection, right? But the spiritual knowledge, which is apaurushaya, right, which is the transcendental knowledge, and it is all perfect. There's no flaw in spiritual knowledge. So that's why we should encourage them, at least study a little bit. Like even I say when I distribute books, like, okay, just read one sloka a day, even though you don't have time. Just spend 5 minutes or 10 minutes before you go to bed, even though you could not do whole day. So when you do that, that much will stay in the mind. And slow and steady wins the rest. We don't need to read pages and pages every day if it is not possible. Don't worry, but don't leave it. At least read something. At least read one paragraph, one page, or one sloka. Make it steady every day. Then that really changes lives. What I have seen in the last 10 years, many women's lives have changed because of studying each and every day without fail. So they have gone to next steps of chanting, they have gone to next steps of services, next steps of initiation. Everything has happened, and their family life has become like some people you won't believe, but I have experienced in my groups that they were already in the verse in the time of almost separation with their spouses. But because of these studies and getting the sastric evidence, the knowledge, they are completely changed. Their life, everybody has become Krishna conscious, rather, even the spouses. So that really,
this knowledge is not theoretical. It is practical, very much practical, and like you said, perfect, complete, and absolute.
Yes, and it is applicable for any time, not just now and not 10 years later. Like Prabhupada gave this purpose 50, 60 years back, and that's still valid right now, because it's always fresh. This knowledge, you need to upgrade your software every 6 months or 2 months nowadays, or 1 month. But this one, you don't need to upgrade, and it has to be there. It will be same all the time. It will be applicable. So we should tell those girls, the college girls especially, that it will be applicable for you now as well as after 50 years of your life. So it should
That's
continue.
very true, because we go through the same nature of problems again and again.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It has been such an enriching conversation with you, knowing about you, how beautiful, amazing, accomplished Vaishnavi you are, and especially so compassionate, starting to teach your kids, and then starting the school, Little Krishna Kidz, then being an avid book distributor as well, and then also teaching women's circle and Bhakti community, and small circles that you have, where you have repeat devotees coming again. And thank you so much for sharing your teaching style, how you would distribute and learn shastras with your students as well. Thank you so much, Ananda Vrndavan Devi.
Thank you. Thank you, Anang Sundari, for your time. Very nice.
Hare Krishna.
Nice talking to you. Hare Krishna.
Talking to you as well.
Krishna.